What's good, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Yes, you guessed it. It's the GBA podcast, and I am Miss Rain. I am here actually for no reason, but I just want to be here talking so much shit. All right, so let's get it. Let's get into it right away. It's super cold. Winter is officially here, which is bugging me extremely. I cannot deal with the cold. I don't want the cold. I don't like it. And furthermore, this rain. But rain brings blessings, as they say. So there's worse things in life as we actually currently, unfortunately, experiencing. Please make sure to keep standing up for the right thing. And if you don't know, make sure you go and you inform yourself. Information, research is the key to everything. Stop believing what anybody tells you. Just do your own research. And I want to talk about something that kind of like affected all of us, especially during the pandemic. So we have obviously a lot of self-employed people, a lot of entrepreneurs, people who are used to working from home, and they love it because working from home obviously brings a lot of perks with it and a lot of advantages. So first of all, when you order stuff, you're home to actually receive your packages, and you don't have to go out there and look for them and chase them down in which post office they are or whatever. So this is definitely a perk. A second thing is you're way more flexible. You can work and do certain chores around your work schedule, around your meetings and everything that you do, especially for those who have kids. Home office makes things much easier. So no matter what, if you're self-employed or if you actually work for somebody, definitely home office is super great. But unfortunately, you are doing most of the things online, which is the case these days anyway. And that can cause online fatigue. And online fatigue is something that a lot of people suffer from without even realizing it. And that's why I just came across a very interesting article, and this inspired me to talk about it because I feel like I'm one of those people. I need to connect with people in person. I started a podcast not way, but before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot do it, and I refused to do things online. And it took me a while, and people around me, people I was working with, they were like, you're crazy, this actually opens doors, you get to speak to way more people globally. And that is true. So I did give in, and I started doing online things, and it was definitely very refreshing to talk to so many people in all these different places without having to actually be in the same room with them. Although I must say, I still prefer to be with someone in the same room. It's just like people doing online dates even. To me, I get it. It's cute to do this once, twice, three times. But I guess, long term, this would not be something that I would enjoy. People, even friends, that couldn't meet during the pandemic, they would have coffee dates online. And that's cool, but it's not something that you want to do for hours and you want to do every day. I wonder, when people stream, like all the streamers, like the gamers or streamers on a whole, y'all do this for 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 8 to 10 hours. I don't know how y'all do this. To me, I don't know. I feel like I get bored easily, and I don't know. I just feel like I'm brain dead after. I'm so exhausted, and this is like something that what do you call it, that online fatigue does for you, and when the pandemic started, everybody was using Zoom before more and more other platforms evolved, and people were really like, having these as I said, days, conversation, friend meeting friends online, meetings, everything happened basically more or less on Zoom. And these meetings with all of these faces being too close, looking back at you from your screen, because usually people just use their normal screen camera, or the camera would be close anyway. And then you would look at the screen and you would look at all of these I don't know how many faces looking back at you, like 4, 5, 6 other faces, depending on how many people you speak to, and it was also said, like, you got to picture it like you're with your eyes closed with other people, and being close to another person usually means either physical intimacy or threat, And I feel like this is how your subconscious receives it, and this is the thing, like, you don't constantly want to feel that way, and then especially you have these different things on Zoom, which I definitely would say are very good that they have these different options, but usually people have it on gallery view, so you have all of these people, like a group of people, like literally looking back at you collectively, and this can cause discomfort, and discomfort spikes the cortisol, the stress hormone. And this is obviously not so nice. It's not something that you would recognize right away. This will hit you later, maybe like towards the end of the meeting or even after, and especially if that's something that you do daily, it definitely affects you. So, and this also, this it's just like, mimicking these intense situations of what I was just talking about, like physical intimacy or threat. And none of this is actually really and truly happening, but the closeness and all these people looking at you, and you feel like scrutinized by all of these people. And this causes a really intense emotional fatigue as well. This over time, our body goes through all of these, this defense overload, like in overload, in terms of like, it's too much. It's like really too much, because what happens then is you have this thing where you look at yourself and you are trying, this is so crazy because I witness this all the time. Like, people would be on Zoom and the first thing they do is, oh my gosh, look how I look, And this is so crazy. People are just like scrutinizing themselves, and they feel scrutinized by others even more so, because they don't like how they look and they don't like how they come across, And we are always kind of like, this is our, natural skill to pick up on social clues, so we want to make sure that people like us, that we're accepted in a group or wherever we are. And it's the same online as well, but just online is just way more difficult to pick on non-verbal clues, like body language, how people look at you. It's really, really hard. And this is also confusing for the subconscious mind, So what they say is, especially if you use Zoom a lot or whatever other platforms, because it's pretty similar everywhere, just put it on speaker mode, where you see just one person at a time, and you don't have to deal with looking at 5 people, 10 people, how many ever people that you have in this meeting with, so you might not feel like too intimidated, and you don't get exhausted so fast. And I think this is also a great idea, especially for those who anyways take issue with public speaking, and it's just sometimes you have to give a presentation at work or whatever it may be, and you also can shrink your screen down a little, and don't sit too close to the screen as well. And also, you can go into the settings, and then you can turn off your own camera so other people can see you, but you can at least not see yourself. This should also help make a little bit of a difference when it comes to these issues, because we're very, very quick to judge ourselves negatively. And even because how we perceive ourselves is not how necessarily others perceive us, but we feel, oh my gosh, this is how I am, and this is how I just like, see myself, and that's how other people see me. But most of the time it's not even the case, And it's also very important to not schedule too many meetings at the same day, on the same day. Like, even if you like have online classes or whatever, it's very, very hard, because it's kind of like the same thing, even if you don't have to have your camera on, let's say, because sometimes you just have a meeting or you have a class and you don't have to have your camera on, which is definitely a great thing, because then you don't have to deal with scrutinizing yourself and judging yourself and, thinking of what others could think about you and how they could possibly view you. So that's great, but that doesn't mean that you don't get online fatigue. You don't get emotionally exhausted from sitting down a whole day. So they have these stand-up desks, which I definitely love. So you can actually stand up, have a meeting, like standing up, and then when you're tired, you can sit back down, and then you can just like press the button and down goes the desk. And then if you want to get up, you press the button and up goes the desk. And try to get some less movement and less gestures, so communicating online is not always easy because, as I was saying, it's very difficult to learn to read nonverbal clues. But maybe it's not that important how they perceive us, or how, like, we feel they perceive us. It's more important, I feel like, how your personality comes across. And I feel like a lot gets lost in transit when you're kind of like, or your brain is occupied with, having all these crazy thoughts and being stressed out about it, so try not to schedule too many meetings, and try to get some movement in between, like walk around the room, walk around the flat. If you have a longer break, if you can, then I don't know, walk walk around the block for a couple times or whatever. Just do something totally different, because it's definitely very important to take regular breaks, since this is a very new thing, with this whole virtual working. And as I always say, social media, also, everything is not that old. We spend a lot of times these days on all of these platforms, whether it's the social media platforms, whether it's YouTube or whatever. This also can cause fatigue. It's a dopamine fatigue. I get this rather quickly. Like, sometimes I'm there on YouTube or on TikTok, and an hour goes by, and I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I'm tired. I gotta do something else real quick. But I know that there are people, and especially the younger generations, they spend hours on their phones, which is totally crazy, and to me, absolutely irresponsible. Also by parents. I mean, I understand you cannot clock watch your child 24/7. I get that, but there should be some limitations put in place and some rules, because it's just not healthy. And this whole virtual lifestyle and social media lifestyle is way too young to even understand fully what it does to our brains. Wait another 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and it will be definitely very, very different. So yeah, I hope this could help somebody a little bit, even if it's just one person. That would be great. Yeah, moving right on to my next topic, and I want to talk about former basketball player Joe Smith. He played in the NBA from 1995 to 2011, and he just recently found out that his wife Keisha Javis, or Javis, I don't know how you say her name. Sorry if I said it completely wrong. During an argument, he basically found out that she has an OnlyFans account, and this kind of like, I don't know why, because in today's society, it shouldn't shock me. It's not the first time I'm hearing that story. I actually know that story from people in real life. Somebody who was married, somebody actually from my country, from Morocco, with the same faith, and we're leaning more towards the conservative side. So his wife didn't want to work. He was cool with it, whatever. But she just would be home all day and she wouldn't do anything. And then he figured out, but she's like affording all of these things and blah, blah, blah. And she's like constantly on her phone. And then it was a friend that told him, hey, you know what? I didn't want to say anything, but maybe when you get home, you should check your wife's phone. And he was like, so he got home. He wanted to check her phone. Obviously, she put up a fight. She didn't want to give him the phone. Eventually, he found out she was actually being on OnlyFans, really, presenting her body in in ways that a woman of faith shouldn't do, and be a married woman shouldn't do, and they had that same argument. Now, from what I know, is Joe Smith, he made about 61 million in the NBA, and unfortunately, due to some really bad investments, he lost a lot of money, if not everything. I don't know really how much he lost, but she, in that argument, which she recorded, which is another problem itself, which I get to in a second. But the fact that he lost all of that money and they had this fight, she recorded it. She was saying, well, I've been asking you for solutions and I've been asking you for something, and you could basically supply any, so I didn't create it one myself. And plus, why are you surprised? You should have known that. You know how you met me. I was a video star. That's what she calls herself. So she calls herself a video star. I don't know what she really did. She was in music videos, if she did any other, corn videos, however. And he was like, yeah, but it was supposed to stop. This leads back to this whole conversation that people been having for years. They had that on the Breakfast Club even recently. I saw the title. I didn't even want to, but it's just like, can you turn a hoe into a housewife? And I don't know. I just want to say shout out to Glasses Malone, one of the good men out there with integrity and class. That's that. I'll say that to this whole breakfast thing, Breakfast Club thing. But so basically, Keisha Davis feels like that's her way of making money. That's what she knows back, and this is unfortunately what people do. They go back to what they know best and where they're the most comfortable at. In terms of that's what I know and that's where I'm confident. Can confidently say I can make some shmoney. I just think that when you get married, things are a little bit different. You're not on your own anymore. So you do need to discuss this with your husband later on. When she was speaking to Team Z, she said that he found out through a friend that he was entertaining, which apparently, and I didn't clock that. That's how sometimes, bro, I just think like I'm so naive. That means I guess he was cheating. That's what they said. So basically his side chick kind of like stalked her a little bit, and she found out that she has this OnlyFans account because she has it attached to her Instagram and on her LinkedIn. And this kind of like cracked me up. I didn't even know people put their OnlyFans on LinkedIn. This is so hilarious to me. That's one thing. The second thing is she was like, yeah, so you can see how much he really cares about his wife. He didn't even see that. Like it's been there on my Instagram. It's been there on my LinkedIn. And he didn't even clock that. And to me, it's like, so women are hilarious. On the one hand, it's like, don't control me. Don't look at every little thing I do. And when a man doesn't do it, then y'all complain. It's just crazy. I mean, nobody wants somebody who controls them. Nobody does. But, like you can blame a guy if he didn't check your Instagram bio to see if you have an OnlyFans account. Maybe it's something that he just never would have thought you would do because the agreement was, once we get married, all it is honus or sex videoness or video starness, whatever you want to call it, it goes out the window. So, I just don't understand. But I keep saying, I always say, this is so crazy, because it's hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is literally everywhere. And then the nerve, it's her body and she's doing it with nobody else by herself. So whatever, she's going to do whatever she wants and whatever his problem is. And I don't understand that. I thought when you get married, you kind of like enter a partnership. You have this whole togetherness. That's why you get married. I thought this was the whole reason that we kind of like live together, and we're doing it, keeping it 100% real with each other. So yes, whether you felt like you needed to do something because his solutions were not good enough or you didn't like them, girl, you still would have to tell him. As a married woman, you have to tell him, And the thing is, to me as well, I just find it also very, very exhausting, this whole thing of people recording each other and leaking these recordings online, especially when it's couples. Y'all married, y'all just one unit, like y'all together. Why would you do this to your husband? For me, if you can't do something like that, that means you're actually done with the situation, and maybe you should let your husband know so he can go about his business, which he probably did, since everybody's saying that friend that he's entertaining means that his side chick, then maybe he already gone by his business. But I don't know what the dynamics are 100%, so it's really hard to have an opinion on that. But I just find this whole thing just really crazy, and I don't know what to say except, bro, like, this is crazy, So it's the same, like with Michael Jordan's son, and Larsa Pippen, who was Scottie Pippen's wife, who played with Michael Jordan in the NBA at the same time. If I'm not mistaken, I read they didn't have the best relationship. Apart from the fact that she's 49 and he's only 32, which personally, if I was 49, I would not particularly want to be with a 32-year-old because I just wouldn't, I hope. And I understand a lot of older men suck, and you don't want to definitely meet somebody that's dead as hell, boring as hell. But bro, okay. But that's one thing, I don't actually find it too bad. Like when other people do it, I don't find it too bad. Now, Marcus wants his dad, Michael Jordan, to be his best man at the wedding, which he said yes to, but he's not actually really happy with his son marrying this woman, a former ex-wife of a former colleague, and Larsa and Scott, they've been married for 24 years. They split in 2021, like, officially, fully, forever, and done. But I think she was also doing some video stuff, and that's why I bring this up. She was also doing some video stuff, and this all leads back to all of these people, like doing things and getting married and not really valuing what it actually means, and I find this a little bit sad, and I feel like sometimes people don't understand really what marriage means. And maybe before you get married, it would be smart to actually make sure that you understand what it means, and the sacrifices you have to make, and, the things you have to give up and never go back to, hopefully, or, just like what it takes. Because I feel like, marriage is something that's very sacred, and it should be dealt with in that regard. But this is just my opinion, and who am I? All right, so last but not least, I want to talk about deepfakes because they've been going around like crazy. So this is an older one, and I already talked about it in the past. In the beginning, I didn't really think of it, and it was like crazy to me. This whole video where Donald Trump was praising Islam, and that he's been to the library, got the Quran, he's been to the mosque, and you think it's great. And I'm like, oh my gosh, first of all, I said it back then, I'll say it again. If that was true, the world would be on a standstill because people would never ever believe that. He would literally have to live that lifestyle for a very long time with other people together for 24/7 around him to make sure that he's not even tripping. But so yeah, come out that this is a deep fake, like you can manipulate voices. The pictures are not so good. I mean, even with the current thing that's going on, we can see a lot of, one side using a lot of deep fakes, and luckily people can figure it out, especially when, you have like things in the video like covering their mouth, so you cannot even see that the mouth is not moving according to what the person is saying. I saw another one that was really a little bit crazy as well. People are crazy and have bored, and this is dangerous. AI is really dangerous. And if it's in the wrong hands, which it often is, it is definitely dangerous. I think it was Joe Rogan who was talking about a interview he did with Andrew Tate last year, and then they went out and he offered him some snow, and the guy was like, he said Andrew got mad, and he said to him, oh, what do you think? Who do you think I am? Like, F you, this and that. I'm not a junkie, yada yada yada. Then Joe Rogan continues to say that he went to the toilet, and then he saw Andrew Tate doing snow, and he said, if you ever tell somebody, I'm gonna kill you. Oh my gosh, I was not allowed to say that word, but whatever. So yeah, so he said that, and obviously that's a deep fake, and I think this is really dangerous. It's defamation of character. It can cause so much, bad things. I think this should have serious consequences. We have Bella Hadid, who recently did a video talking about her Palestinian heritage, and now we see a deep fake coming out where she's taking back her support for her own country, and most of the time you don't know who these people are. And this is a video. Luckily they figured out who did it, and it was easy to trace back to who did it, because this person he actually admitted it, So she did this speech at an award show when she received an award in 2016, and the videos happen to look very similar to the recent video she did where she was talking about what's going on and her heritage, And the thing is, it's really crazy. She literally in this deep fake apologized for choosing the wrong side, and she stands with the other side, which I don't want to say the name for obvious reasons, And this person who did this is hold on. I gotta get the name right. What the hell? I gotta get the name right. Where's his name? Oh my gosh, bro, where is your name? So anyway, this is an Israeli singer called Yoshi Razai. gosh, I knew it. Razayai. I'm sorry if I said your name right. He posted and said, "Hi Bella, I fixed it for you." Can you believe that? The nerve. The nerve. This is actually extremely crazy, totally disrespectful, and as I said, and I will continue saying, it's dangerous. And I'm wondering, what are the consequences for these people now that we have people actually admitting to it, or you can actually now trace it back to certain people, you know? So there should be some consequences, because I understand like the internet and online laws are still in the making, and it's gonna take forever to fix them and make them, you know, great. Or, well, great is the wrong word, but make them kind of like make sense. I just think y'all need to leave Bella Hadid alone. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Leave everybody alone with this AI date fake shit. Like, seriously, it's absolutely childish, stupid, and dumb. That's all I got this week. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever that is that you do online. Keep it coming. And I will be back next week with some brand new topics. Bye.